Okay, we're rolling. Today is January 3rd, 2021. And Mr. Harris,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me your name? Full
My
name?
name is Charles Anthony Harris Jr.
Yes, sir. What do you think of the city coming down and DOT coming down to do away with this camp? I mean, what's your feelings behind all this?
My feelings behind it is that it's not a good idea to close it down. I think with a lot of help from people that's come by to let us stay and give us a chance to put forth an effort, to keep it clean though we can. Some of us got issues, some of us don't. Some of us don't know how to.
Well, you'll find that anywhere, brother.
Right, yeah, and you find it anywhere. But for here, it's more of a place where I think people can come together, find a common ground.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different people in here that really at first didn't too much get along, but after a while you saw people kind of coming together, making an effort, trying to do their best. We got a little bike shop down here.
It's a shame they got to close this place down, because we had plans to come out with different resources from different organizations to provide this, but it is what it is, the city and the DOT. Yeah. But I see that a lot of those folks out there are packing up and getting ready to be vacated, should I say?
Yes, sir. Vacated, relocated, so to speak.
And what's your plans, brother?
My plans is to just keep moving forward. Try to do what I can to provide help.
Can we help you somehow with Endeavorance or anybody that can get you some kind of shelter, brother?
Yeah.
Huh? Have you spoke to those people yet?
Sort of, kinda.
Okay.
I've been on the housing for a long time. So be it. Things happen.
Well, they're going to ask you, brother, why don't you go to Heaven for Hope? Can you give me an idea why? I mean, be honest.
From my personal experience, Heaven for Hope, when it first started, I went there, and it was not so good. But come to find out, dealing with Heaven for Hope, it was a place where it just wasn't run right. You were more still confined, and people was like getting out of jail, getting out of prison, or whatever the case. They don't feel comfortable with being searched every time, and then you have to sit there. If you're on medications, you got to wait 5 days to get your medication. Some people can't wait 5 days, and mental health issues is a big problem nowadays for a lot of people. I was in mental health, and I'm still coming from it somewhat, but it's a hard transition. I was a bad alcoholic, and I don't drink no more. But
that's awesome. Yeah.
And so if you just give people the opportunity to change, and not give them what they want, but give them what they need. Ask them what it is that they need, not what they want or what you're trying to provide for them.
That's what.
You may need something different. He may need something different. I may need something different.
Yes, sir.
Everybody needs solely something different. You got people with families that they break up, married. Everybody has to be married or a couple. So it's kind of hard when you have a girlfriend. You don't have a piece of paper saying that you're married. But common law marriage is acceptable. But when you're trying to get service to help people, you got to have all these documentations that some people don't even have IDs to get to.
I mean, there's places that provide those services for ID, but it's difficult to get to them places sometimes. The time, not having transportation, not having other resources to get to those places.
And it is difficult in that sense, And if what little money that they do make, if they're not on time to get to their destination, they got to ask somebody for a ride. And that's all the little money that they make for the day, because, gas costs. So if you get a ride to be there on time, so that little money that they do make, bus passes are expensive, Those things are expensive, so people that don't have the money for that. And yes, everybody has their vice, My vice is cigarettes. If I could quit that 20, 30 years ago, I'd be all right now. But, it's just something that they need to pay more attention to for us helping people and with their mental health and their needs physically, mentally, to get them stable. Don't just put them anywhere and then expect them to pay a large amount of money that they can't afford, and stuff like that. So they get depressed, get emotional. and you're not really telling them the truth what it is that they're waiting for. You know, you give them the runaround. They give them the runaround. You know, when you need this paper, and they go out there and find a way to get it, and then you tell them they need this paper, and then some people can't take questions, you know, the right way, so they get angry and upset. So they blame it on the person that's needing the help. Oh, we can't help you because you don't want to comply. Well, you done made me mad because you wasn't complying with what I needed. I'm telling you what it is that I need. And people really don't understand the terminology of the paperwork nowadays.
I know. It is tough to be homeless. Yeah, I know.
It is tough. And to be honest with you, I didn't have to be homeless. I could have been at home with my mom somewhere else, but I came out here to show people, like, look, this is my hometown. I was born and raised here. I'm gonna come out here and be with you and advocate with you and show you that, hey, people can change. You can do something. You just got to have that positive influence.
Yeah.
Not a positive, negative influence, you know?
Yes, sir.
Like,
yeah.
I was incarcerated. I got incarcerated. I was 43 years old almost. I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that would have messed up my majors in business, my degrees in business, to get a better job, you know? And
yeah,
it's just hard, you know?
Yeah.
Some people, you know,
yeah. Mr. Harris here is also, I known him for a couple of years, 3 years.
Yeah.
And him and I, we bring the gospel to those folks out here. He's a very advocate for bringing the word of God to those folks out there. And I honor him for doing that.
It is. And, you know, bringing the gospel to somebody, you got to have a different approach than just, you know, the Bible, and you need Lord Jesus. You know, people get tired of hearing that. They don't want to hear it sometimes. They're not in the right state of mind to hear that. They think if you turn to God, they got to just stop everything. And so for me, I feel like I can't turn to Jesus because I still smoke cigarettes and use foul language. But
if you ask for forgiveness, brother,
you know, but that's just my self-conscious about it, you know?
Yeah.
That's just my own personal self-conscious about it.
I know.
So I don't want to be preaching the gospel and then turn around and go smoke a cigarette and drink a beer. I'm just not gonna do that.
I realize you gotta walk, talk.
You gotta, you know. I say if you're gonna do it completely, God says turn yourself over to Him all the way. You know, that means
you gotta be crucified like God did.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Him.
Well, you know, I kind of think I had that happen, you know, but it's just a way of saying, like, hey, you know, I can do it, you can do it. And I'm not the one to give up on nobody, because there's been family members of mine that didn't give up on me when other family members did, and that gave me that drive to stay strong, to say, hey, well, you know what, they gave up, but you did it. And even though I was still doing bad, acting up, they still never gave up. And those are the people that continue to be in my life until they pass away. So it was kind of hard for me to let them go and say, like, hey, you know what, I don't have this in my life no more. This person moved on to heaven or whatnot. Who am I going to get that influence now? Who am I going to get that? So I've had that, both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So,
well, folks, I want everybody to see if we can help Mr. Harris here get a place to stay. All you folks out there, I know they have a lot of resources that we can help him and many others like him with his stories like this. But I'm gonna be around here for a while, and hope to God that these folks find a place to stay that's safe. But we'll be here for you guys. You know that.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Y'all been here. Yeah. And my thing for me right now is that all I need is a reliable vehicle. I have a lawn service. I started my own car wash. You know, learn how to paint. Apprentice. You know, master apprentice from one of the well-known painters here, John Miller. He taught me everything about the business in 5 years, and he learned in 20 years. So I have that. I have started my own business, AJC Enterprises Entrepreneurs. Started off as a car washing and catalog service. You know, driving around washing cars.
People like him, they need an opportunity. They need a chance to prove to us that they're capable of being part of society. But we hold them down, and I believe that we should give him a chance as well.
I think
Mr. Harris, I'm going to close this up. So you want to say a closing cause? What do you think?
I have tons of chances before in life until I actually really messed up and got incarcerated, to where I have a second chance now. I don't drink alcohol no more. So people can change if you just give them the right influence and opportunity to change. And you don't just tell them like, well, you can't do it. You can't give them negative output and then give them a positive output. You just gotta stay with them and say, hey, look, come on. I'm gonna fight with you. I'm gonna roll with you. I'm gonna help you do this. You can't just help them 1 minute and just give up and forget about them.
Right.
You can't put them on the back burner for somebody else who's more sustainable with financial status. Everybody's equal. Everybody has a right to mess up. Everybody has a right to make a mistake. Everybody has a right to change and do better. Yeah.
We're no saints. Let me tell you, myself, I'm no saint. But yeah. Anyway, the closing clause. What do you want to say on the closing?
Closing clause.
I'm going to close this video here.
The closing clause for me would say, just everybody just stay positive. Don't be afraid to speak your mind and say what it is that you need or what you want.
Awesome. That's a good closing.
And just stay educated. Don't give anybody a negative output and be selfish. God says be selfless, not selfish. So if you be selfless and help somebody, it goes a long way.
Yes, sir. I agree.
My mom told me one day, she said, look, if you had a sandwich and the person is hungry, you already ate one, give them that sandwich because God is going to bless you 3 times 4. And it actually came true. So I had to learn I'm a late bloomer, so I had to learn at a late age to do that.
Bro.
Pass it on.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much for your help, brother, and thank you for this video. We'll try to help as many as we can out here. There's a lot of folks out here that's going to be walking around, trying to find you guys whatever resources you need before they come in here and take this place down to the ground again. But God bless you, brother, and you take care, all right?
Thank you.
Take care, brother. Yeah. This is Fred, Broken Warriors Angels, signing off.